Okay, so I debated for a while over whether I wanted to do this video or not because I'm sure that some people are going to say that I'm just being mean or that I'm attacking this vocal coach, but in the end, for me, it really came down to a matter of public safety. So I figured I'm going to risk it. Okay, now we all know that there's a lot of bad advice out there on the internet, and the voice is no different. Now, most of it that I see, especially videos, I just kind of laugh it off. It's comical, you know? It won't really do anything for you, good or bad. But every once in a while, I come across a video that just makes me mad. And that's because it's presented by somebody who calls themselves a vocal coach, but not only is it bad advice, but it can be potentially harmful too. And this is one of those videos, so I felt like I just had to say something. So let's just take a look. This comes from the page of a Freya Casey. I'm not sure what her background is as a vocal coach, but based on this video, I would really question that, especially when it comes to rock styles or contemporary styles. Now, this is her video on raspiness, or what I call distortion or grit. Now I did a video on distortion, the right and the wrong way to approach it, and I'll leave the link down in the description so you can check that out if you haven't seen that. Now this is her approach to getting that raspiness or distortion. Now it's 9 minutes long, so I cut it down just to get the gist of what her technique is. And I'm going to put a link to the full video in the description so that I won't be accused of selective editing or taking her words out of context. So let's just take a look at what her technique is.
And today I have this huge subject of sounding raspy. How do you do it without killing your voice? The content of those songs is like, oh, I got so much passion, it's not gonna sound crystal clear because I'm just like, So how do I do that without killing myself? Because let's face it, if I just sound raspy and have absolutely no control over it and just overdo everything in order to sound raspy, I'm gonna be hoarse pretty quickly, and the next day and the next day after that, probably I won't be singing for a couple of days or a week. Now the key to do this in a way that you're not gonna kill yourself is by using vocal fry. Now you can vary the degree of how much air comes out and how much voice accompanies this whole thing. You can do it with hardly any voice. Or you can do it with a little bit more voice. Until the whole voice is there. And if you just use that vocal fry, that yeah. When you want to sound a little bit rough and raspy, you just leave it a little bit more close and just think almost like the like and then this happens so much easier, and just go like, yeah, okay, I can sound raspy now, and that's not really gonna kill your vocal cords that quickly.
Now, everything about that approach is 100% wrong. Okay, if you follow that advice, you will hurt yourself. That is not the way to get a healthy rasp or healthy distortion out of the voice. But the madness doesn't stop there. When she's talking about people who do this for a living as part of their style, she says this.
And keep in mind, some singers out there that do it all the time, well, they can't help but doing it all the time because their vocal cords won't work any other way because they are so strained. They have been strained for many years, and that's just the way they sing. So you shouldn't want to be like those singers that actually have damaged vocal cords.
Now, if that's not the dumbest thing you've ever heard, I'd love to know what is, because that's just pure insanity. She's saying that people that do this for a living have permanently damaged vocal cords. That is 100% wrong, totally wrong. I don't know how she would be able to explain people who can do clean and dirty in the same song. People like David Draymond of Disturbed. So if you've heard that Sound of Silence remake that they did, part of the brilliance of that is that David starts clean, gets dirty, gets really dirty, and then goes back to clean at the end. It's part of the brilliance of that. I don't know, I guess she thinks that's just magic how he's able to go back and forth like that. Now, the other thing I think she would have a hard time describing is how then are you able to create distortion without even engaging the vocal folds? I can create that type of a distortion simply with a whisper. I can go, yeah! Now, how am I distorting that sound if I'm not even engaging the vocal folds? Okay, so let's just drop a little bit of knowledge here, okay, for everybody, including her, and hopefully, my hope is that she'll eventually take this video down when she realizes how much damage it could be doing. There's a lot of people that have seen this already, okay? Can you create distortion by having a vocal fry that is highly compressed like that. Yes, she kind of demonstrated that, okay? Now, should you do it that way? No, never, don't do it, okay? You will hurt yourself, okay? Now, I'm not just being overly dramatic. Now, you've heard about vocal problems like nodules and polyps, and yeah, we worry about those things, but things like this, highly compressed, overly aggressive vocals like this, you can cause something called a hemorrhage, where you basically burst a blood vessel, and you will stop singing like that, and rehab is insane, okay? So doing it like this to the point where it hurts is bad. Don't ever do it, okay? So people that do this correctly do not use the actual vocal folds to create that distortion. If you've seen the distortion video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But people like David, they'll go, and then you add the distortion on top of it, not using the vocal folds. Now I can get louder and louder and louder and go, yeah! None of that is hurting me at all. I can do that for hours and hours on end. So if it hurts, or if it even feels bad or you can't do it for very long, stop, you're doing it wrong. Now this is an extreme vocal technique. I highly encourage you that if this is something that you want to do, that you do it under the guidance of a skilled vocal coach that knows what they're doing and help guide you through doing that in a healthy way, not this way. In fact, there is one true thing that she says in this entire video about this technique, and it's this.
Don't sing like this the whole time, because even this will put some strain on your vocal cords, and if you do this the whole time, it's not going to be good for your vocal cords. So that's not a good thing. That's how you're going to kill your vocal cords over time.
Yes, don't do it that way. She's basically saying that it's going to hurt your voice, and it's true, it will. It's a very healthy way of doing this so that you will not fatigue your voice. You already hear that my voice is not fatigued at all by doing that. I can do that for hours and hours and hours on end, okay? So that's the right way to create distortion, okay? So it's important that you know who you're learning from. Now, if you guys see a video that you think is a little sketchy or you're not sure about the technique behind it, send it to me. Send me the link. You can get me on Instagram and on Twitter, I'm Brian Lucas Vocal. And on Facebook, I'm Brian Lucas Vocal Coach, or you can just email me, brian@brianlucas.com. And I'll take a look at it and I'll tell you what I think. Now, sometimes there's argument from competent vocal coaches as the right approach to do something. We argue with each other all the time, okay? But I think every vocal coach, and if there's vocal coaches watching here, please comment saying, yes, you're right, this is the wrong way to do it. I think the entire vocal community would see something like this and say, no, don't do that. That is wrong. That's kind of like, lifting with your back instead of with your legs. You're going to hurt yourself. And a good personal trainer knows that, okay? So I'm happy to take a look at stuff like that. And if it's really, really, really bad, I will post another video in response to that. So if you want to hear things going forward, subscribe to the channel and you'll get an alert telling you that I've posted a video. Otherwise, we'll just talk about it and talk about the technique. So feel free to reach out to me anytime. Thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Feel free to share this video with all your singer friends, especially those rock folks, and I will see you soon. Thanks.